Greetings everyone. So I want to play you this clip of a UK Member of Parliament suggesting a clause that he wants put into the 1986 Public Offences Act. And the reason he wants to put this clause in is because he feels that Section 4A and Section 5 have been used wrongly to prevent people from criticising ideas, from criticising ideologies, from criticising religions, and more specifically from criticising Islam. So the idea is that people who criticise Islam can be accused of causing harassment, alarm, or distress to Muslims. And so while there is officially no blasphemy law in the UK, MP Nick Timothy has suggested that there kind of is an unofficial one, because when people criticise Islam, they get into trouble. Now here he is putting forward this clause.
Madam Deputy Speaker, I do not believe that Muhammad was a prophet sent by God. I do not accept the instructions he said he received from the Archangel Gabriel. I do not accept that the sunnah, or body of Islamic laws, has any relevance to me. I respect the religious beliefs of others, but I do not mind if Muhammad is satirised, criticised, or mocked. I'm not a Muslim, and I choose not to live by the moral codes set out by Islam. I'm a Christian, and I should make clear that I don't think anybody should be prosecuted for satirising, criticising, or mocking Jesus either.
So as you can see there, he talks about how he as a Christian doesn't believe in the tenets of Islam, and he feels he has a right to criticise them, and that he would not want to prosecute anyone who criticised or mocked Jesus. Now I think he would have been better off saying he wouldn't want anyone prosecuted who criticised or made fun of Christianity, because Jesus is actually held up quite highly in Islam as well. So if you criticise or mock or make fun of Jesus, you're actually offending Muslims again. So he probably would have been better to just say Christianity. But he makes a fair point there, you know. You should be free to criticize a religion without facing any legal consequences. Now the following week, Nick Timothy brought this up once again. And as you'll see this time, one of the Muslim MPs wasn't happy.
This bill also presents an opportunity for the government to support my amendment, New Clause 108, to protect freedom of expression. This is urgently needed because existing legislation has been manipulated to create a blasphemy law for the protection of Islam from criticism and protest. As I said in my speech last week, Madam Deputy Speaker, I'm not a Muslim, and I reject any attempt to tell me I cannot say what I think about any religion. No ideas or beliefs should be above criticism or scrutiny.
Can I ask him what he would like me to tell the family of Muhammad Salim, the 80-year-old grandfather who was stabbed simply for being a Muslim?
That was obviously an appalling crime, and I remember it very well, but I don't think that has anything to do with what I'm saying right now.
So the Muslim MP there is called Shockat Adam, and he's making rather an odd argument. He's bringing up the attack of an 80-year-old Muslim man just because he was Muslim, and as Nick Timothy rightfully says, it was a very tragic incident, but it doesn't really have anything to do with this. And it kind of goes into that dangerous territory of you may not say certain things in case it incites violence. It's one thing to actually incite violence and say we should go out and attack these people because we believe they're bad. But if you're criticizing Islam or saying parts of the faith are barbaric, that may get people angry and cause them to dislike Islam, but these are your views. And in fact, this fear of Islamophobia is one of the reasons why the mainstream media refused to report certain details of things that happened. If an attacker who drove his car into a number of people and killed many of them turned out to be Muslim and yelled Allahu Akbar during and after his attack, this was conveniently buried by the media because they didn't want to fan the flames of Islamophobia. I can assure you that if a Catholic priest sexually abused somebody, Catholics would not be calling for the media to bury that story in case Catholic priests or even lay Catholics are looked upon negatively because of this. They would actually welcome this story because they would feel that it should be highlighted and this priest should be thrown out of the church church ASAP. That's just the way it is. Sometimes people do bad things and they're going to belong to a certain group or to a certain organization. And you shouldn't be hiding that fact just in case it causes other people to have negative feelings towards that group or organization. Anyway, here's a little bit more of what Nick Timothy had to say in response to Shockat Adam.
In this debate. And look, in a free society, in a pluralistic society, we have to be free to criticise ideas. There are laws to protect people, but we cannot have laws that protect ideas from scrutiny or criticism. But Islamophobia, as I was saying, is a made-up and nonsensical concept that aligns protection of individuals from hatred with the protection of ideas and beliefs, and is therefore, in my view, completely unacceptable in principle.
Free speech does need to be strengthened. People should be able to say what they want to say, even if that means criticising someone else's views or beliefs. And as you can see there, the counter argument by the Muslim MP wasn't very good and wasn't even related. Folks, let me know what you think of this whole exchange in the Parliament. Thanks very much for watching. Have yourselves a blessed day, or if it's the evening already, then a blessed evening and a blessed night.